and welcome to today's Twinkle Live chat with me, Amy. Today is the second part of our Phase 1 phonics videos. If you missed the one we previously, don't worry, you can find it on our YouTube and Facebook page. But I'll just give a quick recap of the things I spoke about. So Phase 1 phonics is a starting point of your child's reading and writing development. It's not where children learn specific letters or sounds or where they learn to read and write, but it's where they develop different skills such as active listening, attention skills, learning to hear rhymes and sounds, and also developing phonemic awareness. Phase 1 phonics is split into 7 different aspects, and I spoke about aspects 1 to 4 last week, and today I'm going to be talking about aspects 5 to 7. If you've got any questions or things you'd like to ask throughout, please feel free to drop them in the comment section, even if you're watching after this live, because I'll keep checking them. So, aspect 5 is called alliteration. Alliteration is where a group of words start with the same initial sound. For example, big bear or green grass. This aspect really helps your child to tune in to the starting sounds that are within words, which will really help them as they go on to Phase 2 phonics and further phonics beyond. There's a few different ways to support alliteration, and a lot of these different activities don't require any resources, and can be quite easy to fit into your busy routines. So the first idea is just to say some silly sentences with your little one. For example, you might say, "A big bad bug bit a black bear." I'm glad I didn't mix my words up then. But your child will have fun with saying these different words as well. And your child could even have a go at adding in their own words or making up their own alliteration sentence once they get a bit more confident with it as well. Another idea for alliteration is to have a little bag and fill it with some different resources. So in here, I've got a peg, I've got a snake, and I've got a ball. The idea is that you pass it around a little bit like pass the parcel, but you sing this song. Pass the bag around, pass the bag around. When the bag stops, you have to say the sound. So whoever it lands on has to choose one of the items out of the bag. And then you might say, "Oh, what is it?" And they could say, "Yes, it's a ball." And you might say, "Yes, it's a big blue bouncy ball." And see if your child can tell you what sound is repeated. It's just a great way to support alliteration, but also support your child to wait their turn and develop self-resilience as they have to wait for their turn as well. Another idea for alliteration is to have a look at this I Spy sheet, which can be found on the Twinkle Parents Hub, full of different little pictures. A great idea to start with is to make this into more of a listening game. So you might say, "Can you point to the pink, pretty pig?" At this stage, children don't have to recognise the written graphemes, but there's no harm in saying, "Oh yes, look, there's the letter P that makes the sound." Once your child gets a little bit more used to alliteration, you could get them to have a go at playing it as an I Spy game and seeing if they can have a go at recognising lots of different objects that start with that sound. Another idea to enhance this, I'm just going to show you now, is to cover it with some coloured rice or oats, anything that you've got, and your child could either use their finger or a pencil to develop their fine motor skills to see if they can find some of the different objects. You could get your child to tell you what the object is, and you could say, "Oh yes, it starts with so-and-so sound," or you could say an alliteration sentence for that object to see if your child can tell you what initial sound it starts with. As with all of these activities, it's best to do them little and often rather than spending loads of time on it. So it's just a great way to enhance it and make it into a bit more of a sensory experience. Let me just check the comments section. Okay. If you've got any comments, you can feel free to add them in. So the next aspect I'm going to talk about is aspect 6, and that's called voice sounds. Voice sounds is all about getting your child used to saying a range of different words and sounds to support them to develop the muscles in their mouths, their tongues, and their jaws. So one easy way to do this is by simply encouraging your child to make a range of different sounds as they play with their toys. So if they're playing with insects, you might encourage them to buzz around. If they are playing with jungle animals, you might get them to say the different sounds. This aspect is a great way to show you how the different aspects linked together, because aspect 6, which is voice sounds, links very nicely with alliteration when you're getting your child to say the different sounds, but also with aspect 1, where your child has to identify the different common sounds that are around them. So if you are out and about on a listening walk and getting your child to listen to the birds, for example, or a clock, you could get your child to have a go at mimicking these sounds to support their aspect 6 phase 1 phonics as well. This is why some nurseries in schools decide to teach phase 1 phonics with the aspects with a little bit at every time, rather than teaching one at a time and moving on. So another idea for voice sounds is by simply reading some different stories that encourage your child to make different sounds. So that could be farm animals or different noises to explain something that's happening. You could sing a range of nursery rhymes as well and get your child to make the different sounds, such as Old MacDonald had a farm and Hickory Dickory Dock. Another idea is to make one of these plates. The instructions for this can be found on the Twinkle Parents Hub, and the idea is that your child can create a crazy face like this one, although theirs might be a little bit better than mine, and they can spin the plate around that's behind it and have a look at the different shapes that the mouths are making. They could have a look in a mirror and see if they can make that shape with their mouths as well and make the sound. It's just a great way to support your child to explore with a range of sounds, whilst also supporting their craft and expressive art design development as well. So the final aspect of phase 1 phonics is called oral blending and segmenting. It's a mouthful, right? But don't worry, it's absolutely fine. So this is one of the key aspects that's going to support your child as they start to read and write in phase 2 phonics. So segmenting is where you've got a word, so for example a pen, and you split that word down into its individual phonemes or sounds. So for example, pen is p, e, n. Blending is the process of blending those sounds back together again. So p, e, n is pen. Blending is how children learn to read in phonics, and segmenting is how children are taught to read. At this stage in phase 1, your child doesn't have to read and write. It's all about listening and doing it orally. As you can see, the practicing oral blending and segmenting will really support your child as they move on to phase 2 phonics and beyond. An easy way to support oral blending and segmenting is playing one of my favourite games from when I was a teacher, and that's a game of robot talk. So explain to your child that when you talk in robot talk, you only talk in sounds. So your child's got to listen carefully and then do the action. So you might say, okay, robots, can you or and see if your child can do it. This skill will take a while to practice. Don't be shocked if your child can't hear the words at first. As I say, practice makes perfect, and little and often will really help. And you'll be surprised by doing some of these different activities, how quickly your child will pick up on it. You can also do this for everyday things, such as, can you go and get your b, a, g, go and get your s, o, k, s. So as you can see, you don't need any resources, and it's something really quick and easy to fit into your busy routines. Another idea for oral blending and segmenting is to get a range of CVC words. CVC words are consonant vowel consonant words, such as sock, bag, hat. One way to play this is by getting your child's favourite toy, could be a cuddly toy, anything, and say, oh, Mr. Duck's going to tell me what he would like, and you've got to listen carefully. You could go, oh, Mr. Duck wants the p-egg. And then get a little bit quicker with saying it, so that he wants the p-egg. You can then, if your child's just starting to do this, tell them that that's the word peg, and eventually your child will be able to hear that as well and choose the peg for them. Once your child gets to this stage, you could make it into even more of a listening game and say to your child, oh, the duck would like the at on his head, to make it a little bit more of a challenge. An easy way to support oral blending and segmenting is also through, just get it ready, just whilst you're reading. So as you might say, can you point to a picture? You could do it with oral blending and segmenting as well. So you could say, oh, can you point to the ish? Can you point to the go? So again, you can see it's something that's, although it sounds quite wordy, can be added into different things that you already do quite easily. And so that's it for phase 1 phonics. But on Friday, I'm going to be talking all about phase 2 phonics. Phase 2 phonics is usually when your child starts reception. So if your child is starting reception soon, it will be really handy to watch along, just to hear about how your child is taught to read and write as they go into reception. There's also a few other useful links on the Twinkl Parents Hub, including an activity pack for at home with an overview and also different fun activities to engage in, and an on-the-go pack full of different ideas that you can take out and about whilst you're in the car, whilst you're on the beach, just some quick ideas that use no resources to support your child. I hope you've enjoyed this live. Let me just check the comments. The link live didn't work, so I've been waiting for it to come live. I will check that once I've finished, just to make sure you can access the links. Okay. I will sort that and get back to you and add it into a different comment if it doesn't work. Okay, thank you for watching today's live. Again, if you've got any more comments, please drop them in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.